Good evening and welcome to the last live town hall of the fall 20 semester. And what a long, strange trip it's been, right? We got a crew here in the room, socially distanced. Before I do anything about the comments, I'm going to ask Dana Moss to slide into the screen. This guy's been the all-star scribe of all these. I'm going to say hi, Dana. There he is. There we go. There we go. Thank you, sir. So we got to celebrate Dane last town hall, but we've had rotating scribes. We've had Mr. Whaley, had General Vanacek, and others, active scribes. Liz Kennedy, I believe, did one for me. But Dana keeps stepping up, and I just want to say thank you, Dana, for your great work. And appreciate this, and obviously keeping him after hours and then making him consolidate responses afterwards is not fun, but I'm grateful for him. I'm going to end this in about an hour with some serious thank yous because it's Thanksgiving, right? So it's a good time to express my gratitude to a few, but it's always a good time to express gratitude. All right, so we'll do the normal sequence here. I'll run through the things I need to pass on that have been collected over the last few weeks. We'll do the submitted question and answers, which is only a few, only a single page this time. And then we'll do the live Q&A that Dana will monitor in the question section of your screen. So you can start writing those whenever you like, and he'll have them teed up and ready for me. And then I'll do the closing comments at about 17:55 or 5:55, depending on where you're from. Right, so the current COVID case update, we have 3 current cases. All 3 are under medical evaluation, but not a single one is on campus. One student chose to return to his personal home, which is fine, under the care of medical professionals. The other 2 are employees that are getting cared for at home. So we have 3 cases, but none are on the campus community currently. That means we've had 12 cumulative since August 8th, plus the one in DC, which is extraordinarily low. I think all of you recognize. As of yesterday morning, we've administered 15,717 tests since August 1st, which is really extraordinary. So I thank everyone who's involved in executing this testing protocol. Truly remarkable. That list of thank yous is quite long. Dr. Paulette Theveau, of course, our director of our nursing program, and the nurse volunteers and the faculty, but also the students. Unbelievable job. And I thank all of you very much. A lot of volunteers there at testing site from all over the campus community. Very, very proud. 15,717 tests as of yesterday. That means we'll be well over 16,000 by the time Thanksgiving hits. As of right now, we have 383 tests at the testing site that we're waiting to hear on for results, which is actually now. We did 610 tests on Monday, which is incredible. That was our personal record as an institution. So that's the current situation. We have 14 students in quarantine, which is actually lower than comparative weeks in the past. They're in quarantine. They either had contact with a positive case, we're waiting for a second negative test, but just to make sure that everyone is safe and they've gone through the correct protocols of medical care. And then once they get their second negative test, they will be back in the community. And we have one in our off-campus house that came back from emergency leave that's under the evaluation period. So very grateful we could accommodate those many emergency leaves, or people had to depart campus for family reasons. We got them out and we got them back safely, and we're proud we could pull that off. And thank you to the student services team that was able to do that for us. A couple of summary notes on departure, then I'll get through some of the more formal informational pass-ons. I had a couple of interactions and a couple of social media comments I'd like to share. The one actually brought a tear to my eye. I'm here in the hallway. I'm wearing my mask. I came upon a rook that was in her mask. We had a nice conversation, and she told me where she was from. And I asked when she was leaving. She said she's going to stay up to the last possible second. And I said, is everything okay? I mean, is there a reason you want to stay? And everything okay at home? And she said, yes, sir. I have a wonderful home life and loving parents, and but this is my family now, and I don't want to go. And I thought that was beautiful. It was a young rook, and she looked perfect, and she spoke beautifully, and I was very happy to hear that that's how she's come to accept our school as her family now. So it was quite lovely, and I've heard that from more than one student. The family posts on social media, very fun. All you parents that are out there showing the photos of your students, especially your rooks coming home. It reminded me that social media can be fun. And I love summer taking your students before and after they get to change out of their uniform with the how things started, how are things now, the hair up, hair down comparisons. Those were a lot of fun to see. And I love how the parents have come together to celebrate each other, except or returning their students home to them. So that was really wonderful to see. And I got to share this one. And Dave Whaley's in the room. He's going to roll his eyes at me. But someone posted a picture of their son in the car wearing his uniform with a very serious face on, and nice comments from the parents. And the mother had just a son. And then the father, in a comment underneath the original post, said, "Hey, why'd you crop me out of the picture?" And he had a picture of himself in the picture with the son, and the wife wrote back and said, "Because no one wants to see you." And I laughed and I said, "My goodness." And then I realized the family's from New Jersey, which are my people. So then I had total clarity on that exchange. So thank you for that. And thank you for all of you families that are posting those great pictures. And you're obviously proud of your sons and daughters, as you should be, and you're very happy to have them home, as you should be. And I think you've seen the positive change in them. And we're very grateful that you trusted us with your sons and daughters. And we hope that you agree it's been a good experience for them. Okay, some more formal pass-ons now. The fall semester and Thanksgiving break. There have been 2 messages put out. I refer everyone again very passionately, please, to the norwich.edu/PSA site, PSA for Public Service Announcement. Please go to the PSA site. All this stuff is being posted very aggressively. One large message posted on the 10th, really fine level of detail. And I wrote one this Tuesday that went up to dispel some rumors. If you could review that and please keep track. And if you have questions, please refer yourself to that PSA site. That's all the formal positions of the school. Sometimes some conversations happen on social media that are not helpful to yourselves or to us. So we refer you, please, to norwich.edu/PSA. Thanks. The main points there, the surveillance test will continue through this week. We'll do more tomorrow on Friday. And then on November 23rd, on Monday, we'll have our last COVID surveillance test. So everyone on campus should have had one up until now. If you haven't gotten yours yet to be able to return home, that'll be the last day we do it. And for our faculty and staff as well, that'll be Monday the 23rd. Please sign up to make sure that you don't have to wait very long and to accommodate our testers and to get down there and get that test done so we can make sure we're not sending anyone home that is not healthy. Why do we do this? We have to have a responsibility for not sending people home and infecting their home communities, right? So our students won't leave without a negative test, because if they go home, God forbid, they interact with their communities or their families, and they can spread an infection. So we want to make sure we do the right thing and not let them go home until they have that negative test. And we're also asking you to please use that site, use those memos to avoid spreading rumors and perpetuating any rumors. Some things got some legs that were never even considered, let alone weren't true. So it helps us when everyone's advocating for the truth out there, and I ask everyone to take their part in that. We do have team members that are monitoring social media. They're doing very well, but we could use everyone's help. So I ask you to please help us out in that area. All right, for employees. So this town hall is for 100% of our community. So I'll talk about employees for a second. So we put out some work from home guidance. State of Vermont guidelines became much more stringent due to some local outbreaks. Vermont's been the safest state in the country for a very long time, but like everywhere else, has been increased incidents. We're still doing extremely well here on campus, obviously, but we want to keep everyone safe. One of the ways we can do that is by de-densifying. So we're encouraging everyone to please work from home if they're able to, and then folks that can't work from home then can be on campus around fewer people, which is more healthy. And those that can stay home are keeping themselves more healthy and not increasing the risk to anyone. So we're pushing that very aggressively. The goal is to de-densify. I'm asking everyone, please work with your supervisors. Tell him or her, I would like to work from home. Show how you can accomplish your job from home. And even if you can't, to work out a way that the office can be minimally staffed. So one person in the office each day can just. I'm trusting supervisors, and they are fully empowered to make those decisions. And I ask everyone to help be part of the solution. All right, for students, academics, there's very important updates in here. So please, if you're in the middle of perusing Snapchat, take a pause and listen carefully. All faculty have been enabled and empowered to change the modality of their courses. So if you've been having an online or an in-person course or a hybrid course, the faculty can decide to go fully online to accommodate all student learning. Why haven't we mandated that for all courses? Because I, as the president, and Dr. Affinito as the provost, understand that individual faculty members have different levels of expertise in different modalities, but also some courses have got to be in person for a little bit while longer. It's been nursing practicum, some labs, sciences, et cetera. So if everyone else that moves to online, the ones that have to be in person have less exposure, and that's safe for everyone. So we have a mandate that the faculty are fully empowered to make those changes. So here's the very important update. Parents and students, alternative grades have been approved for the fall of 20 semester. So in some cases, students might not be happy with the grade they have to this point. They can petition, or actually not petition, they can just say what if they want to move to alternate grading. The grades will be, if there's a letter grade, they can say, I'd rather have the alternative grade, which are high pass, pass, low pass, or no pass. Those are the categories for alternative grades: high pass, pass, low pass, or no pass. Okay, and that's something that you can request through the Banner app. There's also extended withdrawal period for the semester. You can withdraw up until the last day of class, which is December 9th. So if for any reason a student would like to withdraw before the end of the semester, they can do so. That date has been extended to December 9th. You can also do that through your Banner page. There are no petitions or forms needed. And if a student does withdraw, their transcript will reflect a W grade on the transcript. So if there's concerns over GPAs or performance, that is also an option available to students. Okay. Departure schedule. We have said since the beginning that we will stay open until November 25th. Students would like to stay up until that day for whatever reason, we will stay to our word. So we will keep the campus open until November 25th. If you decide to stay and you're a student, you will have access to all student services, including dining, which will be takeout only, up until that day. Just to be clear, no one is being forced to leave early. We're just enabling that desire if the choice is made by a student or family. So just remember though, if you choose to stay, if your family wants you to stay, if you've made travel arrangements to accommodate the 25th as your last day here, that's absolutely fine. We'll continue to stay to our word and keep that date as the last day of the semester. If you want to leave prior, we're enabling that and we're supporting it if that's the choice of the student and family. But please remember, you have to have a negative test within 10 days of departure. That's why we've ramped up the surveillance testing to accommodate the large numbers. And I think we tested about 1,600 people in a 3-day test cycle. So everyone should have had it. And we're asking, please do not depart without that negative test so we can do our part to keep our community safe. We've asked all students to work with their advisors, professors, or company mentors, student life staff, ROTC staff, et cetera. We want to make sure everyone leaves the right way and nothing is left hanging so that everyone can stay on track for their graduation requirements and other requirements for their attendance here. The boxing and labeling of student material in classes. This is important. No one has to bring their stuff home. Just bring home the things you need to complete the semester successfully and start the spring semester successfully. But the items you want to keep in your room, just put them in boxes. That's not for any nefarious reason. You don't have to take them home. It's just if something happens with the virus and we can't open in the spring, which we don't anticipate, but it's a possibility, that we can just send your things home to you if you want them, or we can store them. By you boxing up your material in your rooms, it also allows our FAC ops teams to get in the rooms and clean the dorms out. If there's stuff everywhere, they obviously can't clean effectively. So please box up your things. The boxes have all been provided. The student services staffs, either company mentors or residence life advisors, have made those available. For the keys, just please make sure you turn in your keys before you go. The reason is we have to make sure you get your key upon return so that we know that you can check in, right? 0-day COVID test, your temperature, and you turn in your contract, all those kind of things. So leave your key. They'll let us maintain security, make sure we do the check-in process well. And if you missed it when I said it earlier, if you don't leave your key, it'll be a $100 rekey fee. We don't want to do that to you, and you don't want to pay $100. So just leave them. All right, book rentals, they have to be returned to the bookstore by the end of December. So that means if you're home or if you're off campus, you have to get them back via mail, then you can do that. And the bookstore phone number is 802-485-8255. 2200. That's 802-485-2200. So if you rented books, you can contact them about how to return them most expeditiously. All right, State of Vermont guidelines for picking up your students. So a lot of you have already, the rest of you that are coming. There was some confusion. We made some phone calls and we got some final answers here. So you have to follow the Vermont travel and quarantine requirements, and they're fairly stringent now to come in and out of Vermont, but I'll explain that in a second. But when you are on campus, please don't enter the buildings. Stay outside. A lot of the pictures parents have posted were beautiful. They stayed in the car. The Rook families brought their Rook brother, Rook sister stuff down and dropped it off, met the parents. It was very nice. But please stay in your car, get out of the car, wear your mask, let your student grab their stuff in and out of the buildings. Please don't enter any of our facilities. If you need restroom facilities, there will be some out by the library on the southern side of it. Use those. We just ask everyone, please don't come into the buildings on campus. There was confusion with hotels. Some hotels were declining to let our parents stay if they were driving from out of state. We got clarity. You can stay in a hotel in Vermont to pick up your son or daughter. It's permitted by the governor's rules. You just can't leave the hotel. So you can't go to a restaurant. You can't go out and interact with the community. So please, if you're going to come and stay in a hotel, check in, tell them you're a Norwich parent, tell them you're coming to pick up your son or daughter from Norwich University. They will accommodate you. You can stay. Oh, by the way, there's some discount rates. Just use NU parent as your discount code. And you can stay in the hotel. We confirm that. And we did call the local hotels to let them know, and they all understand and the rule now, and they will accommodate you. Okay. If you have any questions on checkout or pickup, go to the norwich.edu/PSA website. There's a November 3rd memo that's very, very specific. So just adhere to that, please. It'll be fine. All the details of everything I said about the keys, boxing up, all those things are there. All right. For the spring semester, things have changed because of the virus expansion and infection rates. So everyone, please pay close attention to what I'm about to say, and we'll get a memo out in the next few days or next week at the latest, once we figure we got some more details to finalize. But here's what I can share. It's very fluid. There's a lot of inconsistencies out there. There's a lot of frustration. As your college, as your university, we would like to offer you consistency. Okay. So we're just going to say right now that the arrival dates for everyone in January will be 15, 16, and 17 January. We potentially can add the 18th. We're finalizing that, but we're pretty sure we can get there. That'll come out in a memo. Some of you would like to buy your plane tickets, you can make your travel arrangements, etc. Well, I'm just going to tell you right now, our policy will be we're ready to receive our entire on-campus community on the 15th, 16th, and 17th of January. So you can make your plans for the travel and be received on those dates. We will then enter the entire campus quarantine as we did in the fall. So everyone that comes will get their 0-day test, get their symptom check. We'll then go to because the option is we don't want to put an individual or a pair of students in a room and have them locked in that room for a full week. So only people on campus will be those supporting those students and the students that will be in quarantine for the 7, 8, 9-day period. We'll minimize all others, and this way students that are in quarantine can move freely around the campus while the campus quarantine. The second test comes back negative, we can release the students out into the community. So that is the plan. We'll get the whole population back on 15, 16, and 17 January. Okay, make the travel plans if you care to. And the 18th is a potential. We'll post that as a potential, if you're driving, etc. But if you have to fly, you need to take a train, you need to arrange for a car or whatever. You can do it on the 15, 16, 17. Those are hard dates that we will promise. Okay. State of Vermont guidelines are going to change. Okay. What was green last week is now red, and what was red 2 weeks ago is now yellow. It's going to keep changing. So rather than deal with the uncertainties of that, we're just going to go ahead and publish those dates. But please watch that carefully. Make sure you're following rules. Things might get worse, or there might be a vaccine by then. This is all very fluid. We're 2 months out, and a lot can change in 2 months as we've lived, right? But at least we can give you some dates to plan on. Norwich.edu/PSA, monitor it, check it. You can also go there and download your Maroon and Gold behavioral contract, do some forms to make your arrival a little more smooth, the liability forms, testing compliance, etc. Please do that before you come back in January. It'll help us be more efficient. It'll help your time be just a lot better. Okay. I explained the campus quarantine, etc. We did it well in the fall. We're going to do it even better in the spring. Okay, we have a lot of lessons learned. We're going to make it more efficient, a little smoother. The whole campus will be dedicated to the smooth arrival. A lot of parents seemed impressed by the arrival process. I was. Of course, we'll have the weather challenges that we did not have last August, but we have a plan for that too. So keep watching that site. And if you have questions that are not answered by us proactively, the email to use is covid19@norwich.edu. So COVID19@norwich.edu. If you write there, someone will answer your question. Mr. Greg McGrath has been answering that email very judiciously. If there were student services issues he had to get to, he didn't do it within an hour or two, but he's been very good about monitoring that, and the extended student services staff will continue to monitor that as an organizational box. So COVID19@norwich.edu if you have questions that we have not answered proactively, please. All right, classes for the spring. The spring semester will begin on Monday, January 11th. Monday, January 11th. It'll all be online. It'll be synchronous or asynchronous. So get your syllabi from your professors, watch the course guides, and follow the professor's rules for each class. And please be prepared to excel on January 11th. And then of course we'll start receiving people, and we'll go through the campus quarantine. Everything will still be online. The first day of in-person classes that will either be in person or a combination of remote, hybrid, and in-person will be February 2nd. So by February 2nd, we will have completed the campus quarantine and start the in-person experience. And of course, then the commandant and the cadre will start working through how we'll do recognition, because that's their plan. And they tell me the Rooks have done very well in the fall, but they got some more work to do. And when they're ready for recognition, then you'll have recognition. But nothing will happen before February 2nd, because that's our first day of in-person experience. Okay, so those are your hard date. If you just go on the Norwich Registrar site, the new academic calendar is posted and all the details will be there. All right, spring break. We will not have a traditional spring break. And imagine it as we get to campus, everyone's safe, and all of a sudden everyone leaves for spring break and they come back, we got to go through the quarantine process again. Not practical, not advisable, and not safe. So we're not going to do that. Instead, we're offering these respite days, and they are advertised in advance at the registrar site with the academic calendar. So there'll be days off for our faculty and our students, right? I mean, our faculty need a break too. So those will be respite days, and those will be days with no class. We'll offer student activities, nothing will be mandatory. It's a day to catch your breath. Hopefully we can do something enjoyable in the state by then. We'll make those activities available, but in the meantime, just you can plan on those days being no class days for faculty and students. All right, finals, commencement, and commissioning. The class of 20 did not get a commencement event, which is heartbreaking. But we went through a few other options. Eventually, we did a pretty good virtual ceremony. We're very hopeful that we will have commencement on May 1st of 2021 for the class of 21. Okay, so Saturday, May 1st, if you want to make travel arrangements, you can start planning on that. We don't know what the virus will do. We don't know what the state rules will be for having anything in person, but if things are okay by then and they're safe and the Vermont government says we can have a commencement, we will have a commencement. But for your planning purposes, that will be May 1st. Commissioning will happen on Sunday, May 2nd. And we'll wait for the ROTC detachments, and the Department of Defense will publish the rules on how we can do that, okay? So commencement May 1st, commissioning May 2nd. All right, spring semester books. Now you can call the bookstore. I'll give you the number again. It's 802-485-2200. That's 802-485-2200, and arrange for your books to be ordered and mailed to you. The bookstore will ship them to you for $7.50 per order, or they could be picked up by students when they get on campus. All right, they'll have a contactless delivery option outside. They'll bundle them and put your name on it. But you might need them before the semester starts, so you should probably plan on having them delivered unless your professor says you're fine without the books until you get here on campus physically. But I'd recommend, check your syllabi, student responsibility, and arrange for delivery if that's what you need. All right, parking passes came up as a question. I'll answer that now. You can register a vehicle online, and if you have any questions or problems with the online registration, call public safety 802-485-2499. That's public safety at 802-485-2499. But there's online forums. Please hit the website. You can do everything online. All right, other notes for the community. Will we continue to be closed to visitors? The answer is yes. You know, we started this semester, everyone was afraid our students would infect everyone. Our students have been phenomenal, but there's some infection sources from off campus. So we want to keep our faculty and staff safe even after the students are gone. So until further notice, the campus is closed to visitors. An interesting note, December 1st is Giving Tuesday. It's a global event, Giving Tuesday, that encourages philanthropy and generosity across the world. There is a Norwich option. It's called the Emergency Scholarship Fund. The Emergency Scholarship Fund. So if some students hit hardship or for some reason they have trouble paying their term bill or getting through the end of their Norwich experience, that fund will help those students complete their education. And in our recent history, the Emergency Scholarship Fund has allowed 32 students to complete their degrees despite financial hardship. So please, on the Giving Tuesday on December 1st, if you participate in such a thing, you can contribute to the Norwich University Emergency Scholarship Fund. And please keep us in mind if you're able to and you care to. This is a fun one. Unify at Norwich. I met with the students. They're amazing. They basically support the Special Olympics and their athletes. In the past, we've done a lot of one-on-one partnership with individual athletes and our students. They make websites for the students, get to capture their fitness gains and goals, and they track it's really beautiful. It's a wonderful organization and a great program. Of course, right now we can't do much in person, but they're going to continue their core fundraising event, which is the Penguin Plunge. In the past, they've gone to Lake Champlain. This year, because of travel restrictions and the virus, we're going to do it in the Dog River. So in mid to late February, we'll have to see when the campus quarantine clears. Unify at Norwich, the organization, will do the Dog River Plunge, the Penguin Plunge in the Dog River. It's individuals pay $5. They plunge as a team. They wear funny costumes. We videotape it, of course. I've done it. It's not, you know, it is what it is, right? But we'll have we'll do it healthy. Say we have fire pits. We'll have medical staff standing by, etc. But if you would like more details, if you want to sign up, if you want to figure out how you can support, please contact our student Avery Kretschmar, and her email that she asked me to provide here at this town hall is akretsch@norwich.edu. I'll do that phonetically. Alpha, Kilo, Romeo, Echo, Tango, Sierra, Charlie, Hotel @norwich.edu. Avery Kretschmar. And she'll be happy to provide the additional information. And there'll be more coming as well, but it's a wonderful event. I've seen the pictures and videos. It's very funny, but it's money for a great cause. All right, I want to talk about mental health for a minute. Obviously, we invested a great deal in mental health during this fall semester. We plussed up our counseling and wellness center with additional people. We hired some really wonderfully talented individuals, very fortunate, and they've been quite active. And we've maintained a pretty high level of mental health, especially in comparison to other schools. We actually won, as a campus, 2 awards this year based upon our well-being and the way we paid attention to it. We won the Cigna Wellbeing Award, recognized a commitment to wellness, and it goes from employee health satisfaction and other criteria. But we won the Cigna Wellbeing Award, which we're very proud of. And also we won the Vermont Worksite Wellness Award. It's an annual award from the Governor's Council on Physical Fitness and Sports. So it recognized companies and organizations like ours that enable employees to improve their overall health. So we're pretty proud of that. So we won a couple of awards given our wellness initiatives. So some folks to thank for that: the Norwich Wellness Committee. Thank you everyone who serves in that committee and gave the great ideas. The Richards Group and the Green Mountain Higher Education Consortium. So thanks to all that helped enable those wonderful programs. All right, some student recognitions. This is really cool, this one. Professor Marie Agan, she's an advisor to our student chapter of the American Chemical Society. And our students just won the highest award that's given by the American Chemical Society, ACS. They're one of the largest scientific societies in the world. They based the award on student chapter programs of activities. Basically, Marie led the students to put their annual report together. It goes to a student chapter activities committee, and they grade and score them out. It's highly competitive, and our students won. We're one of only 72 institutions in the entire world to win the honor. So I'm going to say thank you to all the students, our chapter of the American Chemical Society, Professor Agan for your mentorship and leadership, and the rest of the Norwich family and faculty and staff that helped enable that. But students, wonderful job. Very proud of you. It's a remarkable accomplishment. Congratulations. We're very proud of you. The Student Debate Club, this was phenomenal. Happened this past Tuesday, the 17th. It's called the Norwich Tribunal. They're our student debate club here on campus. They were active for a while. They kind of lost some steam for whatever reason, but they got revived in 2018. They hold public events on topics that are important to the life of the campus, and they scrimmage other schools, including University of Vermont, some other schools that are regional. And we're going to talk about how to expand their footprint and programs, because it's a wonderful opportunity for our students to get out there and learn their oratory skills and also debate skills. I asked our faculty mentor for the names of the students that I could recognize. And of course, he didn't say his own name, but I'm going to recognize Dr. Daniel Morris. He didn't want to be recognized, but I'm going to recognize him anyway, because he's done a great job developing that club, setting up that format, and moderating the last event. So they had a debate on the alcohol policies on campus, 2 for the government, 2 for the opposition students. I'll name them in a moment. Wonderful event. Students did an amazing job. And in the end, because not everyone gets a trophy here in Norwich, we actually decided who won the debate. And then we can use that for positive feedback to help develop everyone's skills. So our student participants for that debate, like I said, was very, very well done. Cameron Smith is a junior from Kentucky. His major is biochemistry. He's the club president. Padiisha Faku, she's a senior from Massachusetts, majors in psychology, and she's also on the Norwich volleyball team. Rory Stewart, a freshman, she's from New Mexico. She majors in international studies. And Ilyas Hassani, a freshman from Morocco by way of Switzerland. Ilyas, I would like to talk to you when we get back in the spring to hear how that came to pass. But so all of you did a great job. You represent our school very well. I'm looking forward to getting you out there to compete against other schools under our name. That was a great event. And thank you again, Dr. Morris. All right, winter sports is on a lot of people's minds. Look, we're going to try to play. The current environment, we had to decide today, we couldn't. But as the virus runs its course and as things improve, we might have a potential to play. We're actually looking for competition, okay? We've been practicing at a very high level with 0 rates of infection. So we're very proud of that. We've done everything right. I think our student athletes deserve the chance to compete, okay? We're going to try very hard. We have to find people to play. I said at the last town hall, not everyone wants to play us right now because we're competing at a higher level because we've been practicing so hard. So we have to maintain safety. A single infection for any of our athletes is unacceptable, but we've done everything correctly, and I think we can do this safely. So all of our coaches and our athletic director, Tony Mariano, they're working hard with other schools to see what's possible, and we'll continue to update everyone. But our students have earned the right to compete. So we're going to try to give them that opportunity, and we'll keep fighting, okay? There's winter sports right now, we're in negotiation. Spring sports, we'll have to decide that with our conference affiliates. And probably early December, we'll have our conference calls. And I'll advocate for our student athletes because, like I said, they've earned the right. So in the meantime, we'll continue to practice hard. And we'll be ready to, when we do compete, we're going to dominate because we're Norwich. And I look forward to that domination. All right, other media roundups, and we'll get to the questions. Tonight, in about an hour and 10 minutes, we're going to be lining up for the December graduate ceremony. That'll be a virtual celebration tonight at 1900 or 7 p.m. It'll be live streamed. You can go through facebook.com NUPFA, which is a Norwich University Parent and Family Association. So go to Facebook and look up Norwich University Parent and Family Association. You can see the live stream of the December graduation event that we call it the December graduate recognition. We'll read all the names of a few comments. Eddie Haybeck will have some comments, and Jean Enriquez as well. So please tune in for that. You can help us celebrate our December graduates. 2 quick comments on Veterans Day. If you have not yet seen the footage, Please go check it out. It was unbelievable. What an amazing event that was. We had a full pass and review parade. Our speaker was Lieutenant General retired Broadmeadow, Norwich class of '83. Just retired from Marine Corps, 3-star general. He came here and visited for the Marine Corps birthday and was the reviewing official for our parade. And the parade was outstanding. And as the colors passed the reviewing stand, we had a 2-ship flyover of Army helicopters from the 10th Mountain Division, 1 Black Hawk and 1 Apache. Just perfect. It was a perfect event. Very proud of the Corps of Cadets. Just a really wonderful event. So you can check that out on the Facebook page, Norwich University, YouTube. If you search by Norwich University, you can see the event. You can see the entire event was archived, or you can watch the compressed that had voiceovers and some compressed footage. All were phenomenal. So it's YouTube, Norwich University. You can go to Flickr and NU Corps of Cadets, NU Corps of Cadets on Flickr, or Facebook, Norwich University. Admiral Robertson also spoke, and we have archive of his speech at the YouTube site. Just go to YouTube, Norwich University. You can bring all those. We also had the Marine Corps birthday on the same day. Happy 245th birthday to our beloved Corps. No hoorah from our Marine in the room?
Try not to interrupt.
All right, thank you, very kind. But congrats and happy birthday to our Marine Corps. We're very proud of the events that our detachment put on. Colonel Conway is his team. So you go to facebook.com, you can find the Navy ROTC at Norwich page. You can see those pictures and videos. The Mill Lab training that happened last week. So the 10th Combat Aviation Brigade at Fort Drum. So they brought down a Chinook, 2 Blackhawks, one of which was a medevac, and a 64 Apache. So the videos of the flyovers, training, some of our cadets got to go in for Mill Lab. They did combat offloads. They did some egress training. It was really, really remarkable. And if there's a student out there that ever thought maybe I don't, do I want to go to Norwich? Yeah, you do. And direct them to that site. It was perfect. So the Instagram site for Norwich Army ROTC has all that footage and some really high grade pictures. So please check that out too. All right, last couple things. The Norwich Team of the Decade online competition for athletics. So fans are being polled to see what the best teams of the decade. I think we're in like basically a tournament of champions phase right now. So go check that out, norwichathletics.com. Check it out there, or facebook.com, Norwich Cadets, or Instagram, Norwich Cadets. That's the athletics department teams of the decade. It's a lot of fun. And the last thing is, I think the last town hall was right before Halloween. I did do the Halloween event at the president's house. We had 2 12-foot long candy shoots, and I'm not going to say I was Captain America. I'm just going to say Captain America showed up and I wasn't in the same place at the same time. I'll leave you to your own thoughts. But I think about 24 pounds of candy were distributed and I ran out. So it went quite well. It was a nice event. Lots of pictures on Instagram.com, the Norwich Guidon. If you care to check out the Norwich Guidon site on Instagram, you'll see a lot of those pictures. And people from all over central Vermont came by for contact-free candy delivery, and they all expressed their gratitude to have something nice for their kids. So it went very, very well. Okay, so with that, I'll save my closing comments. We have about 15 minutes to run through questions. So I think all of the questions were answered preemptively that were sent in. Campus will be open to walk-in exercise for visitors. The answer is no, not yet. However, keep watching and we'll be able to get to a safer opening at some point in the near future. We'll have to watch the Vermont State guidelines and we'll post those aggressively. Okay, our son's going to be returning in the spring with his own vehicle. Other 4 return dates. Okay, this is kind of overcome by events. Given the new directions from the state, there's no more in-home quarantine options. So your son should be planning on return either 15, 16, or 17 January, possibly the 18th, but he should plan on getting here within one of those 3 days, please. Okay. I would, all you families out there, I would plan on not being able to use an in-home quarantine like you did in the fall. All right, thank you. Okay, parking pass. Somebody asked about the parking pass. I gave it a number, Public Safety Office, 802-485-2499, 802-485-2499, and the email is simple, publicsafety@norwich.edu. publicsafety@northside.edu if you have any parking pass questions. All right, last pre-question, and then I'll look at the live stack here. Do we have to ship rental books back? Can they turn them in when they go back in January? Okay, so they have to be emailed back by the end of December. So I already gave that information, but please call the bookstore. I'll give the number one more time to make sure we have that. And then we'll move on to the live Q&A. So the bookstore, 802-485-2200, 802-485-2200. It's got a note, student to scholars event. This is a live event typically that lets our students showcase their individual research. And we have some very gifted and wonderful faculty to help guide their projects. I got to sit through a lot of the videos. They were wonderful. I would say that hit the website. If the provost or one of our faculty can add the website, I can direct our families and alums and other viewers to. I'll read that off here before we sign off. The student to scholars event, the individual research that was done by our students with faculty guidance, it was pretty cool. There was some really cutting edge stuff, and really there were things that were done at a higher level than what I did at graduate school. So I will commend our faculty who led that and our students who participated. And we'll get that website out to you here shortly once we get the address. Okay, here we go. What is the web address for Vermont Travel Guidelines? It's accd.vt.gov. So Alpha Charlie Charlie Delta accd.vt for Vermont.gov. Okay. If there is a COVID vaccine, will Norwich require students to get it? We've started asking that question. My position will probably be yes, but we'll have to monitor to make sure that that our health professionals will advise us in that area. So we have a physician that we pay to advise us on such thing, and Dr. Thabeau from our nursing department will let us know what they think about that. Okay, so we will post that. Given where we're at as a country right now and where we are at the vaccine, I don't think they'll be widely available in January. So we will post that so everyone knows where we're headed as soon as we have a decision to make. But right now, I think they're still saying it'll be late spring, if not the summer, when they're widely available. And obviously, higher at-risk communities will probably get them first. So the elderly, the very young, etc. Will the students who are home for the fall receive housing preference in the spring? How will they be integrated into the dorms? So yes, so anyone who stayed home in the fall is prioritized for spring return, but student services and enrollment management, those professional staffs have reached out to all students, and every student who wants to come back in the spring has been accommodated. So if your son or daughter did not come in the fall, I hope they reached out and they got that answer. If they didn't, please call, please email. Actually, use that COVID-19 at Northside.edu email address and just say, we're waiting to hear, I want to make sure that we have a bed. That answer will come from either Mr. McGrath or from somebody above or that works for Mr. McGrath. So the answer is yes. If you weren't here for the fall, you will be here in the spring. You'll be fully prioritized, but it looks like everyone wants to be here in the spring. We're able to increase our bed spaces. We have 1,839 beds, and it looks like all of them, every student who wants a bed will have one. Will student individual report dates be determined by the school, such as Rooks first or alphabetical? Right now, because of the way we're going to do the quarantine, it'll just be one of those 3 days. So whatever your family need is, as long as you come on one of those 3 days, that's how you should make your plan. And then we'll post, once we see what kind of numbers we're looking at, we'll expect it to be naturally distributed, but if we need the 18th, we'll make that day available for everyone as a 4th day if we get the approval. So plan on 15, 16, 17, one of those 3 days. We will not mandate who comes when. The 18th will be an option potentially once we get that finalized. Is 28 January no longer an arrival date for the spring? So we could talk through that, but the answer is, if we just want to tell everyone, plan to be here 15, 16, 17, because we were able to offer the 28th before, because we thought we could do the 14-day at-home quarantine as an option. The state said it's no longer possible and they won't allow it. And even Vermont is red. So you can come from a county in Vermont that's red. In August, you could have driven here and showed up on the 28th. You didn't have to go to campus quarantine. The rule right now by the state is every student has to go to a quarantine process. Rather than guess on the 28th now, we're 2 months out, we'd rather give you the ability to plan. So just plan on 15, 16, 17. Okay. If that changes, we'll get the word out. But if you use that now for planning, you should. Okay. Will athletes have a different return date in the spring? Is it 15 to 17 January? Right now it's 15 to 17 January because right now we don't have anybody to play. If we do have a season, we can preserve. The coaches will work individually with the athletes to arrange for those earlier arrivals. But until you hear from the coach or the school, you should plan on the 15th to the 17th. Okay, thanks. Will the spring break day off for employees now be a floating day off? I got yes, employees will have a personal day off to use between Jan 1 and May 31 with supervisor approval. So my direction to everyone is going to be supervisors, work with your employees and make sure everyone is accommodated. I like to have maximum flexibility to ensure the mental health of our staff. So I would say I don't want to make any days mandatory. I'd like for that to be flexible. So supervisors should be working with all employees and sections. Kudos to our students and the Center for Civic Engagement. Our blood drive on 5 November raised 382 pints. I tried to come down and give my A negative and I was told there's no spots. So that's a great, I'm glad. I'm not glad I couldn't get blood. I'm glad that we had to turn me away because we were full. Special thanks to students Kevin Sloan and Hadley Wolfram. Both are civic scholars. So thank you, Kevin and Hadley. That's wonderful. And thanks to the Center for Student Engagement or Civic Engagement. That's a wonderful program. I'm a huge advocate. How does the alternates grading system equate to or impact the GPA? So I've talked to the provost, Dr. Affinito, I think would have specifics for that. I will ask Dr. Affinito to send out a very clear communication of how alternate grading affects GPA. Okay. I have an understanding of how I believe it works. I do not want to steer anybody wrong. It's really, it's an option because it was a difficult semester for everyone, including our faculty. And we don't want anyone's GPA to suffer. So I have an understanding. I want to be airtight on what it is. And if our provost is online, she can provide an answer, or I can ask Dr. Affinito to please put out a communication to all students that explains that very clearly. Why did the classes move to online from hybrid with no active cases on campus? Can we anticipate the same for the spring? So we moved to online because a lot of parents and students expressed their desire to leave before the Thanksgiving holiday. We did not want to have in-person instruction if it wasn't absolutely necessary because we didn't want to keep students here and risk any infection because then they would have been stuck here through the holiday. And I've watched this happen in other schools where they're having outbreaks now and no students can leave for the Thanksgiving holiday, and it's driving mental health further down than it already was, but also bringing undue stress on the families. Basically, the answer is we wanted to accommodate the family need to have their students home. That's really the bottom line. And Vermont is getting, we're at the front of the slope of a really high level of infection, and we want to get your sons and daughters home to you without risking anything further. So although we have no active cases on campus, it's happening other places where they're locked down similarly and they're still having outbreaks. So we just wanted to enable an early departure, but still accommodate folks staying because we made that promise to them. So as far as anticipating the same for the spring, I would say generally yes. We'll have to see how things are going to go. Got to remember the weather cycle is going to be opposite, right? We're going to show up, it's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be cold, and we'll be driven inside somewhat. But then we're going to move into a more pleasant outdoors. So we'll start hard and then get easier. We started easy and got harder in the fall. So you can anticipate the same for the spring, but I'm hoping, and we're going to plan aggressively to have it be less restrictive as we move on. If items cannot go in boxes, chairs, lamps, etc., what should students do? They should stay out then. And mini fridges and microwaves also could stay out. They do not have to be boxed. We're talking about mostly personal items that they don't want people to touch. But they're too big to fit in the box. They're fine to stay out in the room as is. Just understanding they'll get cleaned. So if it's anything high value, we should figure out a way to get a bigger box if they're worried about its safety. If certain classes cannot be offered remotely, Dan, your penmanship is slipping, my friend. If certain classes cannot be offered remotely, will there be an increase in the number of institutions that Norwich will accept transfer credits from? That's an interesting question that I have not thought of. So I will not answer that now. I will ask Dr. Affinito to answer that question along with the question on GPA effects of alternate grading, okay? So transfer credits from other institutions tied to remote class offerings. So I will ask Dr. Affinito to answer that question in her memo that will come out to answer those two, okay? So thank you for that question. Okay, what testing is required prior to arrival day in January? So everyone, when they show up, is going to get a test. We would prefer you come with a negative test. Other schools have accepted negative tests from outside, and they've had outbreaks anyway. So when you show up here, you're going to get your symptom evaluation, you're going to sign your waivers and behavioral contracts, and then we're going to give you your test on day 0, then you're going to quarantine. I will say, as far as required testing prior, I don't believe we will have one, right? Anybody in the room want to correct me? Because you'll get tested when you get here, because we trust our testing protocol, and you know, we just want to make sure we do it right. So there'll be no requirement. This is why we're letting everyone come at the same time, so that we can take care of the whole community at once. For spring classes, will there be more interactive synchronous classes? That's going to be driven by individual professors and departments. And that is advertised, I believe, in your course guide and your schedule as you're choosing your classes. It will say what the modality is. So you prefer your synchronous classes, grab sections, obviously, that offer that option. Arrival dates and COVID testing for commuter students. That is an excellent question. Commuter students, when would they get their 0 day? Tell you what, I'll put this off to the side. We'll answer this in the subsequent communication tied to the town hall. So if you're a commuter student, when do you get your arrival date and COVID testing? I would say we'll mirror that to the 15th, 16th, and 17th. So you come get your day 0 test, and then you get your second test at you come at a follow-up date, but let me get an answer to that more formally so I don't misspeak. Thank you. Oh, here we go. Students to Scholars Symposium. I recommend everyone checks this out. It's awesome. It's awesome. Norwich.edu/undergraduate-research. Norwich.edu/undergraduate-research. Or in the search bar, you can hit Students to Scholar Symposium. Okay. And that will, you should definitely check it out. And if you're watching this on archive and not live, look at it as soon as you can. You'd be very impressed by what our students have been doing. Okay, I've got time for a few more. For classes like ROTC and Mill Lab that had to move online, how will that impact on the grade? That's something you got to ask the ROTC detachment about. I don't want to get involved with that from the presidential level unless I saw a problem, and I've not seen a problem. Your ROTC cadre and commanders have been very proactive about making sure this was done very, very proactively. So you'll have to ask them that question directly, okay? And I'm sure the wonderful staffs we have in the ROTC detachments can get you a very clear answer. Do parents need to get COVID tested before picking up their student this fall? No. That's why we ask you, because we really can't control it, right? So when you come, we're asking you to stay in your car. If you get out of your car, make sure you wear a mask, keep your distance. You're going to hug your kid, totally understand. But we're asking you not to go into the rooms or the buildings for obvious reasons. We just can't verify a negative test. So the answer is no. Obviously, I recommend you do for personal reasons, but you know, I would just say, please, you stay in your car, wear your mask if you get out of your car, keep your 6 feet, and then once you get your son and daughter in the car, you can please expedite your departure. It's just better for everybody, right? But no, you don't have to have a test before you come. So Greg McGrath, who I trust with my life, says commuter testing is 29 and 30 January, but I'm gonna pause on that being the final answer because we want to make sure you get both your tests before then, which means you have to take it earlier. So I would say wait for the formal answer on commuter testing. We will publish that very clearly, okay? Greg McGrath, I understand where he's coming from on that one, and I do trust him. We just have to make sure that all commuter students get their second negative test after the incubation period of 7 days, which is 8 or 9 days after your arrival. Otherwise, we'll, you know, we're putting them at risk, and we don't want to do that. So we'll publish that very clearly. What is the student movement protocol in January? It'll be very similar. We will publish those. We'll probably do the video walkthrough just like we did the fall, where we'll have to do it inside, obviously, though, unless we have some kind of freakishly good weather, which we should not anticipate. But I'll just say that'll be published. We'll have to do it inside, probably Plumlee, maybe a combination of Plumlee and Shapiro. We're going to do some walkthroughs, try to anticipate numbers. We'll see what the state guidelines are at that point, and then we'll take it from there. So keep an eye out, okay? But the protocol will be very aggressively posted. And just remember, just plan on, in a world of uncertainty, embrace the certainty we're offering you. 15, 16, and 17 January, plan on arriving. If the 18th is possible, we'll post that soon, okay? All right, I'm gonna make a closing comment here. Nothing else lingering there? Scribe?
That's it.
Thanks again to Dana Moss.
Okay.
And to Dane Abernathy, my friend. We loved him up last time, but he's done an amazing job all semester. Dave Whale is in here too. I'll just say he's a heck of a guy. All right. So look, I'm going to get totally corny for the last 3.5 minutes, okay? It's about to be Thanksgiving, and we have an awful lot to be thankful for, don't we? Right? I mean, I have 2 kids in college that are not here, and that has not gone well at other colleges. You know, it hasn't gone well for the faculty or the staff or the families. And most importantly, it's not gone right for a lot of students around our country. It's gone very, very well here. And I'm very grateful for that. You know, I'm very thankful to be here. I'm very thankful to be your president. I'm very thankful for everybody in this room and the entire leadership team here at Norwich. And I'm thankful for our students. You know, our students showed the world that they could be trusted to have an in-person learning experience. If you read the articles around higher ed, it's basically that I'm a fool for trusting our students. I mean, somebody actually said that I personally am a fool because I can't trust our students. And I said, no, we absolutely can. And they're going to prove you wrong. So are our students. I'm thankful for all of you for proving everyone wrong. Our student leaders who helped execute this fall term that made sure they led through an on-campus experience in ways that everyone outside the campus said it was not possible. You know, thank you. You student leaders in the Corps, student leaders in the civilian dorms, you've done an amazing job. You should be very proud of yourselves. What you've done here is more than a lot of folks that have graduated college in the last 10 years have not been able to do out in the world. So thanks for what you've done for our campus community, student leaders. You've led us through some difficult times, obviously. The faculty, you know, I'm thankful for you for being flexible and delivering a world-class academic experience in very trying times. You know, many of our faculty never signed up to teach remotely. They never signed up to be in a classroom with kids that are in the high-risk group for spreading an infection, and there they were. You know, I was sitting in some classrooms too. Our faculty are highly devoted, they're highly professional, they're highly effective. You know, they've informed and improved the world in which we live in ways that will endure for a generation of learners. And I'm very grateful for our faculty, and thank you. Our coaches and trainers continuing to leverage athletics, even in the face of endless numbers of disappointments, right? So our kids have not been able to compete, and they've earned the right to, and no one will play us. In the middle of that, we've had no infection. Our behavior has been spectacularly positive. And in spite of the disappointments, our young men and women have been developed as leaders and individuals of high character. So thank you to our coaches and our athletic trainers. For the staff, for caring for the students, training them, enabling their experiences, enabling their attendance. You know, everyone in the staff on this campus, I'm extremely grateful for. You've been working well and above, well beyond what would normally have been expected, and everyone has performed at a very high level. And I got to call out again our facility operations team, FACOPS, the unsung heroes of this semester. I'm going to keep singing their praises to make sure that they're sung heroes, but I'm completely blown away by the dedication and talent of our FACOPS teams. Every time we had a positive test, they were deployed like a rapid reaction team to the office space and scrubbing it down and cleaning it and making sure it was safe to return to operations. Dorms, offices, athletic areas, the FACOPS team has been absolutely unbelievable this semester. I'm very grateful for all of you, and I've tried to thank you every time I get to see you, but I'm thanking you again. Our alumni, I'm thankful for carrying the Norwich banner wherever they go, whatever they're doing, and they help our brand be elevated in a way that we owe them a greater level of effort. Our trustees, I'm very thankful for our trustees, and I'm becoming close friends with almost all of them. You know, they're volunteers doing amazing work for us. They enable our school to stay open and funded and resourced, and our branding, our expansion. I'm very grateful for our trustees. Grateful for our parents and families. You know, you trusted us with your sons and daughters at a very perilous time. I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that trust. And I'm thankful for your continued support. I'm thankful for our community. They were quite uncomfortable back in August. They were very patient with us, and our community is now some of our strongest assets and strongest advocates when we negotiate with the state and regional governments to show that we have done things right. So thank you to our community. And I'm thankful for so many others who have supported us. They behaved with empathy and they behaved with understanding under times of very high stress, including our media relations team that are helping us tell the great story. So everyone, in closing, you know, 'tis the season, right? We're entering the holiday season, however you celebrate it, wherever you're going to celebrate it. You know, and don't forget, no matter where you're celebrating or how you're celebrating, your Norwich family is always with you. Okay, I'm going to count our blessings, going to be thankful for our health and our well-being, but please just remember, I'm very thankful for all of you. So with that, I'll sign off with Norwich together and Norwich forever.